Grok 4.1 was a complete surprise to me this week. I was not expecting it. I was looking out for Gemini 3. I went into X and Grok 4.1 just surprisingly got dropped. So in this video, I'm just gonna walk you through what's different about Grok 4.1 from Grok 4, how it changed, and then we'll just do a full walkthrough of Grok in general, because a lot of you guys might not know the difference between ChatGPT and Grok and when to use the different tools. So let's get into that right now. All right, so if you go to grok.com, you don't need a Twitter account or an X account to actually use Grok. You can just create an account just for Grok. But obviously, if you have an X account, you can just link it. It's pretty easy. But it's going to work just like ChatGPT. So the difference is I like Grok because Grok is the only AI model that has full access to the X feed. So when you talk about things like news or daily updates or software tools that come out, like obviously the Grok 4.1 release or the Gemini 3 release, Grok is the only model that can really pull up-to-date information from X. So I usually use it for things about news or things that I need to stay up to date on something really quickly for. So anything research or things like that, I usually like Grok for perplexity, but Grok is the only one with the X feed. So I jump into here first usually. Now, the difference between the different models is you're going to have Auto, which kind of chooses between fast or a thinking model. And then you've got Grok 4.1. Now, Grok 4.1 replaced Grok 4 Fast. Grok 4.1 really just replaced the Grok 4 Fast model in the model selector. So you basically get this Grok 4.1 or the Grok 4.1 thinking model. So it can really decide, how much you want it to think, how much research you want it to do. But I just click on this Grok 4.1, and that's usually what I leave it on when I'm doing things like research. It's pretty fast. Now, the big thing that I like that's different about the Grok 4 Fast model is the Grok 4 Fast model would research for everything, but Grok 4.1, it doesn't necessarily do that. It might respond really quickly without having to do any research. So if I just said, "How are you today?" it's just going to respond really fast. But with the Grok 4.0 Fast model, it would actually go off and research a little bit and decide how it wanted to respond, and it just seemed unnecessary. So this one's definitely faster and it researches better. Now, if I said, "What's the latest news today?" you're going to see it's going to search the web. It'll come out with 88 sources. That's insane, to be able to search that quickly and give me an update on what's going on in the world today. So I'm usually using Grok 4.1 for my quick news, quick updates, things like that. Now, the rest of Grok in general, it's going to work pretty similarly to ChatGPT. So if you use ChatGPT, you can just kind of jump in here and it's going to work pretty similarly. Now, what I like about Grok is their product team is phenomenal. They're constantly making updates. They're constantly adding features. So you have a deep research tool in here. You can click on that and it's just going to really, really search across the internet for things that you need to do some really heavy research on. It does have an image generator in here, which is by far one of the fastest. We'll go over that in a second. And then it's got some quick little pick personas that you can look at here. So you could say this is a cover letter writer, and it's basically going to give it some really quick custom instructions on how to be the best writer. And then you can ask it questions or have it write something, and it'll actually write a little bit higher quality than otherwise. And then obviously it's got a great voice model. It's pretty comparable to ChatGPT's voice model. So I wouldn't say that it's necessarily better or worse, but it is pretty good. Now, if you wanted to do the voice model, you can come in here, click on the voice and mute yourself and type to it. For some reason, ChatGPT doesn't have that, but it is nice that I can literally just say, "Hey, how are you?"
I'm great, thanks. How about you?
and it'll respond back to me with voice. So if you're maybe in a crowded area and you want to just type to it and just have it respond in your voice, then you can do that here. And obviously, like ChatGPT, you can select which voice that you want it to use. And you can even give it a different personality like therapist, assistant, storyteller, things like that. Now, just like ChatGPT, Grok does have projects. So you can come in here, create a new project, give it custom instructions. So this would be test project. You are a personal assistant for Ben Valentine. And then you can add any project files that you might need to. So maybe you have a master prompt or you have a bunch of project files for a particular customer, things like that. You can add it all in. It'll use all of that as context. And then when you come back to it, it'll save all those conversations in that project and you can continue from there. So very similar to ChatGPT. I'm a big fan of the projects. We use them for all sorts of things, but maybe LinkedIn posts. I want to give it custom instructions on how to write LinkedIn posts and give it documents of all of my prior LinkedIn posts that kind of keeps with my style and my tone of voice. Then I can use it for that. Now, the big thing about Grok that ChatGPT doesn't do as well with is their Grok Imagine. Their image generator is super fast. My favorite image generation model is still Nano Banana, but Grok Imagine is very, very quick, and you really can create a lot of images really quickly. So if I came in here, clicked image, selected 3:2 aspect ratio, selected 2:3 aspect ratio, and then I just said something like, generate an image of a hedgehog walking in a forest next to a calm stream of water. Press enter. None of the other models other than Nano Banana can generate images this fast, but it's also going to generate an endless supply of images. So if you wanted to just get inspiration and learn prompt engineering and learn how to prompt these images really well, you can see all of these different examples of an image of a hedgehog walking next to a stream in the woods. The other thing about it is it also creates pretty fast videos. Now, is it going to be as good as Kling or some of the other video models? Probably not, but it is a very good image to video model. So if I took one of these pictures and I wanted to turn it into a video, you could give it an additional prompt, drinking from the water, and then click go. And it's going to generate a video from this image into whatever prompt that you gave it. So it's very quick. We're already at 50% and it goes very fast. Yeah, crazy. Okay, so definitely more realistic than some of the older video models. I'm always just mind blown that we're this far with AI, where it's a believable video. So think if you were just wanting to post some videos on social media, you could use this to just come up with an image of the direction that you wanted to go and then turn it into a little video and then post that on LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram or something like that. But I think the big thing for a lot of people is they don't know how to prompt with images or videos. So using Grok as a tool for that, where you could actually come in here, look at the other videos. If you click on some of these videos, you can see the prompt that they use to come up with the image and video for that. And it'll really help you to learn what types of words and phrases and things like that to use. It really stretching your vocabulary is going to be what helps you as an individual making AI images or AI videos. It's going to really help output and the quality of what you get. So being able to communicate what's in your head onto the AI. So being able to communicate what's in your head into whatever AI interface you're interacting with is going to help the output of whatever you have in your head. So being able to increase your vocabulary and communicate what's in your head into whatever AI interface you're working with, it's really going to help the output, the quality that you're getting out of the AI tool. Now, just real quick, I'll show you an example of deep research. So if I was researching something like market trends for home interior design companies in North Atlanta market 2025. Instead of just doing a little bit of research, it's really going to do some deep trend research and go across dozens and dozens of sources on the internet and then summarize all of that into a big document for you. And one of the reasons why I like Grok Deep Research is it's much faster than some of the other deep research tools. So this one only took 59 seconds. If I click Deep Research on Gemini or Deep Research on ChatGPT, it literally could have taken upwards of 10 minutes. Now, is Grok going to do as deep of research as some of the other tools? Maybe not, but maybe I don't need a 10-minute deep research. Maybe I just need real quick answers, but a little deeper than traditional search. And so this is kind of a happy sweet spot in between really long and really fast. But you can see that if I scroll down, it's got this huge lengthy document on the market trends for this area for 2025. So I'm able to see, and it went through 39 different web pages and finished it up in just under 60 seconds. And one thing I wanted to mention is they do have tasks inside of Grok, and I'm actually a pretty big fan because you can create tasks, set a cadence, maybe this happens every day or every week. So let's just say every day at 7 a.m., you could just give it a prompt. So give me the latest news on AI technologies in a bullet list format, easy to read and consume. And then I can select which model, if it's going to be thinking or not thinking. And then I can decide if it's going to email that to me or email only, app only, usually just like the app only. And then I would just create that task. So every day at 7 a.m., it's going to send me an update on the latest news for that day. And because it has access to the X feed, it's going to be really up-to-date information on what's actually been happening the past 24 hours in a nice bullet, in a nice bullet in a nice bullet point format so that it's really easy to consume. So instead of getting all this news articles and lengthy blogs that you have to read, it could literally just be bullet points. And I kind of like that. So big fan of the tasks. Definitely recommend getting there and using them. You only get, I think, 2 daily tasks for free. If you upgrade to the Super Grok, then obviously you can get more, but they're pretty limited. I usually don't need. And that's something worth mentioning. A lot of people are wondering, do I need to pay for Claude, Grok, ChatGPT, all of these others? I only pay for one. I actually pay for ChatGPT, and then I use the free version of Grok and Claude and Gemini because I don't use them as often. I use ChatGPT for most of brainstorming. I get by with the free version of Grok and Claude and Gemini. I would say Claude is the one that sometimes I wonder if I should pay for it because when I want to do a lot of writing, then I usually hit the limit. Their limit is pretty strict, but Grok is very loose. So if you're using Grok, you don't really need to pay for it right off the bat unless it's going to be your primary AI chat application. So guys, that's Grok. I'm a huge fan. Grok 4.1, definitely an improvement. It's not really as state of the art or as game changing as something like Gemini 3, but I'm definitely a fan. So we're headed in the right direction. XAI does a great job at their product development. Their whole product team is phenomenal. They're always coming out with new tools. So I'm a fan of Grok. I would definitely highly recommend it for anybody that wants to have access to the X feed, better news, things like that.